Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you for having me, man.
You know, I saw Higher Learning just a couple of nights ago. It's a really good movie. Your performance is great.
Thank you.
It was really fantastic.
Thank you.
And we saw here a clip. You play for people who haven't, I guess people haven't seen it yet. You're a college professor.
Professor of political science.
Yeah, and you give speeches. That's just a short clip of one, these motivational speeches, and they're really, I mean...
Yeah, they're pretty intense.
Yeah.
He's quite intimidating, and he was a lot of fun to do.
Yeah, but they really grab you. I mean, I like wrote a term paper after the movie was over. I was really like, I've got to get my act together.
Have you got it with you, Conan? Because I can mark it for you.
I think Andy has it. Andy?
I left it backstage again.
Yeah,
after
no.
the show.
We had the director John Singleton on.
Yeah, I watched that segment. It was very funny.
Yeah, no, he was. It was cool to have him on, and he was talking a little bit about the movie. And you've worked with him before on Boyz in the Hood.
Right.
And I was wondering how you two hooked up, because you seem to have this great collaboration.
Yeah, it was funny. We met on Pee Wee's Playhouse in 1988. Yeah, that's right. Pee Wee's Playhouse, 1988.
Wow, that's the start of many great collaborations.
Oh, yeah. I was.
That's where Coppola met Brando, I think.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, I was doing this Cowboy Curtis character. It was real silly. Really out.
Yeah.
And John was the lowliest of lowly PAs. He was working on the door, and his job was to stop people at the door and go, "Are you supposed to be here? Do you have the proper ID?" And he was like 18, you know, USC Film School, and I was working. I had just done a movie with Spike Lee called School Days. So naturally, he was, you know, a big Spike Lee fan, and tell me Spike Lee stories and this, that, and the other thing. And you're a great actor, and what are you doing, you know, dressed up like a silly cowboy? You should be. And I was like, I got to pay the rent, pal. You know, I'm working stiff. So I went one day, and I said, "Hold on a second, John. I'm gonna get some coffee. I'll be right back. You want some coffee?" And he said, "Sure," and I came back with 2 cups of coffee. And then 3 years later, he wrote Boyz in the Hood, and I became a star. And I found out from him after that the reason that he was so impressed with me and that I endeared myself to him by getting him a cup of coffee.
Oh, that's
He
actually
couldn't believe
cool.
that I got him a cup of
but
coffee.
that pays off.
It does. So
Yeah.
you should always, I mean, coffee is key.
Coffee.
Coffee.
Coffee is the key. You hear it right here. You, I mentioned in the intro you got a Oscar nomination playing Ike Turner.
Yeah.
And the question that came to my mind was, a lot of actors do this. When you're playing a real-life character, you meet the guy. Did you actually go and meet
Well,
Ike
I didn't
Turner?
go to meet him. He actually came to us. We were shooting in their old house in Los Angeles, and there was this rumor going around that Ike was in the neighborhood. Ike is in the neighborhood, so they, you know, naturally they called out the sheriff. So there were like 4 police cars all around. It was awful what they did to this man. Anyway, I kind of got the feeling that he wanted somebody to acknowledge him, and I heard one day that when he was there, and I went out, and I saw him. He was sitting in a car, and I said, "Hey, man, where you been?" And he looked at me and he said, "Everywhere." And I said, well, he looked at me and said, what you been doing? He said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm trying to be you." You know. But he was really very charming, and he was very nice, and it was fun to meet.
Did you actually like try and you know, adopt any of his physicality or the way he moved or anything
Well, the
like
thing
that?
was, I had been doing the movie. We had been like 6 weeks into the shoot, so if I had tried to do anything like him, it kind of would have thrown off what I was doing.
Right.
I did ask him to do his walk for me, and I kind of did a little bit of it in the end of the movie. But
He has like a particular walk?
oh
or?
yeah, doesn't everybody?
I guess they do, yeah.
I don't know. It's
if
an
you really
actor-y
pay
thing.
attention.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's an actor thing. Sorry.
All right. Well, no, not now. You've offended us both very deeply, and I think you should leave.
I'll be back.
No, please stay. We're going to have to go to commercial in
Sure.
just a second, but before we take a break, I know your name used to be Larry Fishburne. Now you've been going as Laurence
That is correct.
Fishburne, and I was curious, what prompted the change?
Well, you know, Larry's kind of like the old neighborhood, you know. Larry, how you doing? You want some coffee? You know, like that. You know, and Laurence is sort of, no, I'll be having tea. You know.
A good reason. All right. Well, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to have more with Laurence Fishburne when we come back. We'll see you in a second.